Bash in Berlin is just one day out, and I decided to make a list of 5 things that I'm going to be keeping an eye on throughout the course of the PLE. These are going to be different from what I talked about in the PLE preview video, which if you haven't had a chance to watch that yet, I highly recommend going and doing so first, then jumping back into this one. But anyway, back to the list. I sound like Chris Jericho now, but the list of 5 things that I'm going to be keeping an eye out for throughout the course of Bash in Berlin. This could be surprises, this could just be overall just matches. I really just kind of wrote down a couple things that I'm going to be very interested in seeing how they play out. So that's more or less what this video is going to be about. So without further ado, let's get into it. Up first, I have a Kevin Owens heel turn. I'm very curious to see if they decide to turn Kevin Owens back into a heel. I think we're all kind of thinking it after the recent tease that we got on Friday Night SmackDown where it looked like he was going to turn. He ended up not, but we all kind of thought about him possibly turning right there and then. And I talked about it in the PLE preview video that I really could see this being somewhat of an AJ Styles type of feud for Cody in the sense that we could get multiple matches between these two. Providing they do turn Kevin Owens heel, then I think it's very much on the table that we see these two have at least 1 or 2 more matches. Now, would it make sense for Kevin Owens to turn heel? Maybe, maybe not, just depending on the reason why they have him turn heel. I think if they make it make sense, I would be okay with it. But I don't want him to turn Kevin Owens heel for the sake of him turning heel again. I think Kevin Owens has done a fantastic job as a babyface, and he's the type of guy who can go from being a good guy to being a bad guy and playing them absolutely perfect. So if they do decide to go down this road, I would be here for it. And again, like I said in the PLE preview video, I don't think we see just one match between these two. Up next, I got the Randy Orton versus Gunther match. Now, if you don't know, Randy Orton is my favorite WWE superstar of all time. So, whenever we get a Randy Orton match, I'm gonna be excited for it no matter what. But what I'm most excited to see is how the crowd plays into this match, because this one is going to be the big fight feel type of match. Because you have the hometown guy in Gunther taking on one of the most beloved superstars in WWE right now in Randy Orton. So I'm very curious to see how the crowd reacts to Gunther. Are they going to boo him? Are they going to cheer him, considering he's the hometown guy? Or are we going to see them fully in Randy Orton's corner and have them sing his song when he comes out? Or are we going to see a healthy split of like 50-50? And honestly, I think we could get a 50-50 split. I think the people are obviously going to want to see Gunther win and Gunther do well because, again, he is the hometown guy. But when you're going up against Randy Orton, who, again, is one of the most beloved superstars right now in WWE, and considering that crowds have started to sing his song during his entrances, I think speaks to just how beloved he is. So while, yes, I am excited for the match itself, I'm kind of most excited to see how the crowd plays into the match and what type of crowd it's going to be for this match. Up next, I have just the straight up Drew McIntyre CM Punk match. Again, I've talked about it for a long time now. This is the best feud going on in pro wrestling right now. You can argue with me all you want, but this is the best rivalry going on in pro wrestling right now. Not just WWE, all of pro wrestling. Because it's been a while since WWE has had a true blood feud like this that is built on pure hatred, and a feud that feels so real at the same time. Them incorporating the bracelet into it, Seth Rollins being a part of it, there have just been so many little things going on throughout this rivalry, and I have to shout out CM Punk for going live on his Instagram when Drew McIntyre was cutting his promo on this most recent episode of Monday Night Raw. Absolutely genius. Absolutely genius, and I am a big fan of it, and I want to see more superstars doing something like this in the future. As for the match itself, I talked about it in the PLE preview video. I'm excited for the match. I'm not a huge fan of the strap match stipulation in the way that they're doing it. I'm fine with it being a strap match, but I would rather see somebody pin somebody else to win, because I think that would just mean more than simply touching all 4 corners of the ring. Up next, I have a match that I think is a must-win for the Judgment Day. I'm obviously talking about the Dominic Mysterio Liv Morgan versus the Terror Twins Damian Priest Rhea Ripley match. And the reason why I say it's a must-win match for the Judgment Day is because this is their chance to kind of get back to where they were, because you can tell that they're still trying to build up after losing Damian and Rhea. And you could just tell that people were starting to lose interest in the Judgment Day because Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest were beating them almost every night. So that's why I think it's such a big match for the Judgment Day, because I think they can start building back up to where they were when they had Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest, and everybody was involved. With this also being a mixed gender tag match, I'm wondering if we're going to be seeing this more in the future as WWE eventually moves into Netflix. Maybe this is WWE kind of testing the water a little bit to see how the interest is with it, but I think this could be a big match for WWE overall, and seeing it with a lot of big name stars like Rhea Ripley, like Damian Priest, who are obviously two of the most over superstars in pro wrestling right now. I think this could be WWE testing the water a little bit to see what the interest is going to be like, and I think we could see it more as they move on to Netflix. The last thing that I have on my list is the crowd. How is the crowd going to be? We've obviously seen the European crowds be absolutely insane. We saw it at Backlash in France. We saw it at Clash at the Castle in Scotland. What is this crowd going to be like? Are they going to be on that same level? Are they going to be crazier? Or are they going to be a little more tame than what we've seen out of the European crowds as of late? Now, there is obviously a big difference between a European PLE crowd and a North American PLE crowd. We saw the difference between the Backlash and Clash at the Castle crowds compared to what it was at Money in the Bank, which wasn't a terrible crowd by any means, but you could just tell that it's just not the same. So are we going to get them singing, jumping around, having a good time, or are we going to get a more laid-back crowd like we see in North America? If you were to ask me, I think they're going to be absolutely fantastic, and I think what we're going to see is going to be similar to what we saw at Backlash and at Clash at the Castle. So that's the list that I came up with. I want to hear from you guys. What are you guys most excited about when it comes to Bash in Berlin? It could be something that I had on my list. It could be something completely different. So if you do have something different, then let me know in the comments down below, because I'm genuinely curious to see how we're all kind of feeling going into Bash in Berlin. That is going to do it for this video here. I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, feel free to hit the like button. If you really enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button. It would really mean a lot to me. As always, down below in the description is our Linktree link. There you can find all of our social media pages. I highly suggest going and checking out our X page. Over on X, we do updates on every Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and all of the PLEs, so we will be doing it for Bash in Berlin. And overall, I just want that to be a place for wrestling fans like myself who don't have a lot of people to talk to about wrestling. I want that to be a space for them. That is going to do it for this one here. Stay tuned for more content coming in the future. We'll see you next time.